Today we are going to be learning the ins and outs of beginner guitar playing and all of the tools you need to cheat the system. Until you can learn it the right way, of course. This could be one of the most important beginner guitar videos that you watch. In this video, I will be sharing all of the ways that I have avoided playing bar chords for the first 10 years of playing guitar. Tricking people into thinking I'm better at guitar than I actually am is my specialty. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, keep watching. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's Nena. If you're new here, welcome. I make guitar tutorials and things like that. If you're not new, welcome back. So glad you're here. Today, I just wanted to sit down and tell you guys all of the different tips and tricks I've learned throughout my many years of playing guitar when I just wasn't motivated to learn the really hard stuff, and how I kind of cheated my way through that. Until I sat down and actually wanted to learn the exact way to do things. But essentially, I've been playing guitar since I was about 9 years old, and I'm 23 now. For the first, I'm gonna say 8 or 9 years of playing guitar, I didn't really want to learn hard things. I just wanted to play what I knew really well. The lengths that I went to not to play bar chords or just cheat my way through the whole thing is honestly astonishing to me. But I'm here to share that information with you. If you're a beginner and having a really hard time staying motivated because you can't quite, get that bar chord yet, or it's keeping you from playing the songs that you really want to play, then I'm here to help you out. And in all of my videos, when I'm teaching my tutorials, I want to use chords that are good for beginners because I've made it my mission to make guitar tutorials for super beginners, because I think it's super discouraging for someone who's just starting out to look up a YouTube video and see people playing bar chords and thinking oh my gosh, I can't even do that yet. I'm never gonna get to that point. But there are stepping stones in order to get to that point, and that's the point of this video. Yeah, so let's do it. Now, I was blessed to be a Swiftie because Taylor Swift also feels this way about bar chords, I imagine, since she never uses them when she's playing live. But most of her songs don't require bar chords as long as you have a capo. And this tool, I will tell you, this tool is the most important thing you need if you want to play the songs you want to play if you're a beginner. Because if you don't have a capo, it's gonna be really tough if you don't want to start learning the hard bar chords all at once, because a lot of songs actually in their original open key or whatever, I don't know the terminology, have bar chords. So there's plenty of Taylor Swift songs that I couldn't play without my capo when I was a beginner. This thing is so important, and it's $5. I've linked one in the description box. This is the one that I use on Amazon. I think it's well worth your $5 investment. Now what the capo does is, let's say you have a B. So this is the B bar chord. And if you don't want to play the bar chord, it's honestly so hard. It took me until my freshman year of college to actually sit down and learn these bar chords because I just wanted to get it down. But I didn't play bar chords until my freshman year of college, if that tells you anything. And I played since I was 9. But if you don't want to, you put that capo on right there, and then you play a basic chord. With this comes learning how to transpose. And what that means is that if you're playing a C sharp minor on the 4th fret, basically that sounds the same as putting your capo on and playing an A minor. I know, it's trippy once you figure that out, but there are tools on the internet for transposing, so you don't actually have to learn how to do it in your head, but it's good to know, and eventually you'll pick it up, because now I know oh, this chord transposed on the 4th fret is this chord. It just comes with time, but this is the first step in kind of cheating the system, I would say. My capo was the first way that I kind of cheated the system. I really wanted to learn Mean by Taylor Swift, and the original way to play it is with the B and the C sharp minor. and I didn't want to play that. So you could capo it on the 4th fret and play the C chord progression, C, G, A minor, F. So what I learned is that there's like certain chord progressions that translate into other chord progressions. And what I mean by that is if you're playing a song that has no capo and the chords are C, G, A minor, F, then you're gonna be able to capo that on the 5th fret and play G, D, E minor, C. And those two chord progressions go hand in hand a lot of times. And there are many technical ways to explain why this is, but essentially it's all in the same key. You're just capoing it so you can play easier chords. It's gonna sound the same most of the time. I literally don't know how to explain this, but I hope you understand kind of where I'm going with this. But what I learned to do is if I saw a song that had a lot of bar chords in it, I could put it in to the internet and find chords that were easier as long as I had the capo. Now, I'm gonna tell you a trick that I have religiously used my whole life, and that is on if you go to ultimateguitartabs.com, which I'm sure every guitar player has been to that site in their life if they ever Google search the chords to a song. But they have a tool called transpose and it has a plus and a minus. Now, if it says no capo and it has all these chords you don't like, you're gonna press that minus sign until you find chords that you like, and whatever that number is, that's the number of the capo you're gonna use. So let's say if it says no capo and the chords are B and C sharp minor, I'm gonna press -1, 2, 3, 4 and it's gonna come up with C chords on there, and you're just gonna plop your capo on the 4th fret and play the song with those chords that you like. So that whole thing is gonna be my first tip. Use the capo when you can and transpose it to easier chords. That is your first step. Now, I'm gonna teach you what you have to do if there's no way to avoid this bar chord and you have to play it as part of the chord progression. I have so many cheater ways that I play chords. Even now, even if I know how to play bar chords now and I don't like actively avoid them, but when I'm teaching, I want to teach people the cheater ways because they're not going to want to play the song and they're not going to want to get better if they can't play the songs they want to play. And I think that is the most important thing. You start playing guitar because you want to play a specific song. That's why I played a bunch of Taylor Swift songs, is because I really wanted to learn those specific songs. And when you're motivated, you're more likely to practice and all that. Anyways, so the first cheater chord I learned was F. Now, F technically is a bar chord. When I was first starting out, I had really small fingers, and it's hard when you're a kid because I was playing a full-size guitar when I was 9 because my parents didn't know the difference between like a smaller guitar and like an adult-size guitar. I could not play bar chord when I was 9. Like, I'm sure if you were like super dedicated 9-year-old, like I know there's prodigy kids out there that can play guitar better than me, obviously, but I just didn't want to. I was lazy. What I did is I played this F. Even this one is a little bit hard because you have to bar the first 2 strings with your first finger, but this was the first F that I learned. I was able to learn a lot more songs once I got that chord down. But if you can't even bar that, there is also another way you could play F. You don't have to bar it, just putting your first finger on the 2nd string. So that's gonna be a different type of F. I don't know exactly what the name for it is, but you could play that. That's basically how I learned to play F, and I still play it like this. I don't play the bar chord at all because I just like the way the other one sounds better. And the next chord I had to run into is B minor, and there's a couple ways I played this chord too. B minor, honestly, I hate it. I hate it. I don't like B minor. I don't really like the way it sounds, but I know it's necessary sometimes. I will never write B minor into my songs on purpose. The B minor I learned when I was super younger. I avoided this chord at all times because I hated B minor, but sometimes you gotta. So this is the way that I played it. I was on the 2nd fret and I played the bottom 3 strings like this. And then you just strum kind of like the bottom 3 strings. You try to. It kind of works, like it works if you want to play a song. It's not the most accurate B minor, but that's what I used to play when I was a wee young child. And now the second way you can play a cheater B minor chord, this is a little bit of a step up from that one. It's kind of like the F. You're gonna play it like this. Now essentially, this is just the bar chord without the bar part. You're just gonna put your first finger on the first string and strum the bottom 4 strings. And it sounds the most similar to the bar chord, I would say. But yeah, that's what I use for the B minor. And then there's another chord called B minor 7, and this one is more jazzy, and it doesn't always work, but sometimes it works with certain chord progressions and it sounds like it fits. But essentially, it's kind of like an A, but you just spread out your fingers like this. You can hear the B minor in there, it's just a little bit more jazzy and open, but sometimes they will use B minor 7 instead of regular B minor in some songs, so that is an option for you. Okay, you also have B, which I could play 2 different ways. Honestly, when I'm playing a song that has B, I will usually just play B because it's my favorite bar chord. But if you don't want to play B as bar chord, you could just do this. And it's the same idea as the B minor, where it's technically the bar chord, but you just put your first finger on the first string instead. And it's a little bit of a stretch because you're stretching from this fret to this fret and you're leaving that third one open. That's a way you can play B without a bar chord. And another way you could play B is a more suspended chord, and I love this way of playing B when I'm playing the E major chord progression, where it's like E, A, and then I have B. So this is kind of like a transition to a bar chord type of chord. Like you learn this one when you want to play something a little bit more difficult, but you just don't want to play the bar chord. And it's also a suspended chord, so it sounds like, I don't know, I just really love the way this chord sounds. So that's what it's gonna sound like, this really like open chord. This could be hard for some beginners because your fingers are kind of far apart, but this is more of an intermediate cheater chord, if you will. This kind of goes along with the next chord I'm going to show you, which is C sharp minor. And the C sharp minor chord looks like this. Basically, this is just a B minor moved up 2 frets. And what you're going to do for this chord is the same thing as B minor, but it's just gonna be on the 4th fret instead of the 2nd fret. And then, like the other B sus chord that I showed you, this one, it's going to be very similar for the C sharp minor sus kind of chord, where you move it up to the 4th fret. And that's gonna be that chord. So you could play C sharp minor like this, or you can play the suspended version like this. So those are 2 options for C sharp minor. Let me see. Okay, and then there's 2 more little chords I'm gonna show you for this part, and it's going to be F sharp minor and G sharp minor kind of cheater chords. And I've taught a couple for F sharp minor, but for this, the easiest way to play F sharp minor is barring the first 3 strings on the 2nd fret. And if you can't even bar, you can just use all 3 of your fingers for that one. Usually the chord's gonna sound like this. It's kind of got the same kind of sound. And then the second way is the suspended type of way, and that's gonna look like this. And then the last way I'm gonna show you is this one. And those are 3 ways you can play F sharp minor. And then the next one, G sharp minor, is basically very similar. So the first 3 strings barred on the 4th fret. So you could either do that one or the suspended chord, which is the same shape as the F sharp minor suspended chord. Just move up to the 4th fret. Okay, so those are just some of the cheater ways I've learned over the years for those chords, and I just wanted to make this video because in a lot of my songs I talk about these chords, but I just wanted you guys to see all of them in one place so you could refer back to it. And I'll leave you guys with a couple more tips if you're a super beginner. If you're having a hard time pressing down on the strings, my first recommendation is to get some lighter strings. These made a huge difference when I was younger because I had such small fingers, and pushing pushing down on the strings, like I just wasn't down for it and made me not want to play the guitar because it hurt my fingers. And if you go to the guitar store, just ask for like some beginner lighter acoustic guitar strings if you have an acoustic guitar, and they'll help you out, I'm sure. Because if you can press down on the chords better, then you'll more likely be able to memorize the chords faster if it's easier for you to play them. So your muscle memory will pick up, and if you gradually get heavier strings, then it will help you in the long run to memorize all the chords. And I think that's all the tips I'm gonna share with you guys today. If you guys want more videos on like beginner guitar playing tips, let me know. I would love to share my experience and knowledge with you guys from my journey with trying to avoid bar chords. Make sure to give this video a like if it helped you out, and if you want to see more guitar tutorials, mostly Taylor Swift, go ahead and subscribe. Press the notification bell so you don't miss a single video. I post every Tuesday and Friday, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! I know this morning well, I know something now, I didn't before. Do I have any other advice?